So I've pretty much come to the conclusion that black people just enjoy being utterly miserable in everything that they do not like and must comment and let the world know how unhappy they are with things that they don't like. See, one thing that I typically try to do on YouTube is when I find a video that I enjoy or I like or I appreciate the content that the provider has provided, I typically give thanks and say, hey, good video, keep up the good work, yada yada yada. Though I rarely comment on videos, I typically don't write a whole fucking paragraph about videos I don't like. Now, as I've gotten older, as I've matured more as a man, I realize that when I used to do that, that's pretty much very close to a bitch behavior. So, as I've gotten, I guess, more mature in my manhood and more secure within myself and not being so insecure about myself, I don't necessarily have the need or feel the need to always comment on things that people are just putting out there and, spreading their opinion. Everyone has a right to their opinion and everyone has a right to speak their opinion. Why black people, I guess, assume that you do not have the right to speak your opinion unless you agree with the groupthink. So, if you believe that every white person is evil, every white person has a hand in slavery, and every white person wants to oppress every black person, then you are A-okay with them. If you happen to be a person like me and say, well, let's see. Out of my whole entire 36 years of life, I've only been called a nigger by 2 white people, and I've been called nigga about 500,000 times by people who look like me, but yet and still claim that white people are very racist and don't like us. See, me having this independent point of view makes me, I guess, what some would call a coon. Even though I don't necessarily support white people in what they do, I do happen to say this. If you can think back in your mind and attribute to majority of the drama in your life, has it come from racist white people or have it come from black folks who look like you? See, this is the reality that 98% of black people don't want to, I guess, admit, and they don't want this fact to come out, is that pretty much black people don't like black people, not because of their skin color. They don't like black people because of the stupid shit that majority of the black people do. Well, if that is the case, then why can't it also be said that maybe majority of white people who don't like black people don't like them because of the stupid shit that they do? Not necessarily the hue of their skin color, but the stupidity of the shit they do based on their behavior. Now, see, I understand that, yeah, I'm probably not accepted by white folks, but I've never been one to try to be accepted by white folks. Now, I am a fair guy and I'm an honest guy. So if I can sit there and say that, well, if a white person does something and to a black person, or they speak out against a black person and they're racist, so then when black people consistently murder and lynch each other in these inner city plantations, why can't I say that black people must be racist against themselves too? But if I say they have self-hatred, that's acceptable. But if I say that black people are racist against themselves, then I don't understand racism. See, my grandmother experienced real, true racism. Racism that made her flee from South Carolina up to upstate New York. What racism are black folks experiencing today where they have to flee a whole region for another region just to remotely feel safe? See, it doesn't exist. Now, is there biasness? Yes, there is. Everyone is biased in some way, shape, or form. But that does not make you a racist. Now, with everyone always screaming and shouting that everything is racist and everything that white folks do is racist, it kind of takes away from when real actual racism happens, such as racism in the healthcare industry, where typically black folks always get experimented on. But this rarely ever gets talked about because someone gets kicked out of a Starbucks. And that becomes more important than, let's say, talking about the Tuskegee experiment. See, I'm a student of history, and I love history. I love going back, and I love reading things, and I love exposing things and finding things out that I didn't know. Because when you study history, it definitely repeats itself, but it always comes back in a more dumbed down version than it originally happened. See, it's only a matter of time before black people probably will end up being rounded up and put in some type of captivity. It's only a matter of time. But it is not just because on the basis of their skin color alone. It is based on the stupid shit that they've been allowed to do for so many years, and people are now getting fed up with it. All races and nationalities are getting tired of our shit. Now, here comes the hatred for me, because here I stand and I say, well, maybe black folks need to change, and maybe black folks need to educate themselves a little bit more and understand what words and terminology mean. Such as, when someone says you're ignorant, that doesn't mean your behavior is bad, it just means you honestly don't know. That's what ignorant means. It means you don't know something. When I say I'm ignorant to the homosexual lifestyle, that is because I don't know anything about it, because I don't live that lifestyle. I love women in vagina. So, therefore, I'm ignorant to that lifestyle. Not because I curse somebody out, that doesn't make me ignorant. Unfortunately, these are things that will never ever change in the black community, because we are pretty much led by dumbass black women, or excuse me, black females, because black women honestly understand and know where I'm coming from and why I'm saying what I'm saying. But unfortunately, the black female is just as dumber than a fucking doorknob and a bunch of fucking rocks in a box, because they don't want to have to exert the effort of actually thinking through a whole thought, but rather be emotional and responsive to the things that I say, and other black men like me who say things that are basically just trying to expose the truth of why we are in the condition that we're currently in, because of the dumbass females who continue to bring and birth children into a dumbass mentality and a dumbass economic situation, which is if you can't support yourself, why then would you bring a child into that same environment where you know that you couldn't support them? But again, leaving a whole paragraph on a video that I did because you feel a certain type of way is way more important than actually addressing the actual topics that I bring up and bring forth.